Okay, so let's do this. It's about 60 hours after India won the finals of the T20 World Cup in Ahmedabad. Social media is still abuzz with conversations around how the cricketers are getting back. Especially Shivam Dubey taking that third AC train from Ahmedabad to Mumbai in order to be with his children. Uh, I've been seeing Sanju Samson in Trivandrum. There are still crowds outside his gates. But time to kind of now reflect on the victory and the way forward. We'll do precisely that. Joining me on the show is Bharat Ramraj and Shubhain Chakravorty. My name is Ashok Nambudri, and you're watching Rev Sports Global. All right. So now that we've put 2.5 days behind us, let me start with you, Bharat. Quick reflections on how does it feel? What are the top of the mind thoughts?
Did you just can you come again? Maybe I didn't hear it correctly. What do you feel or something on the slide?
Yes, I was asking now
Yeah.
that it's 2.5 days after the victory, what are the top of the mind thoughts with regard to India's victory in the finals?
It was a thoroughly professional performance. That is how I look at it. See, New Zealand opted to bowl first. There itself, I think New Zealand lost that game because you don't want to bowl first against India, even if the conditions are good for batting, because India have such a great batting unit, and then they have Jasprit Bumrah. So, and it turned out to be a completely thoroughly professional performance from the Indian team right from the start. I think it is, and after India's victory, it is very much on expected lines that the fans are very much celebrating long and hard. Even now, you are hearing all those things about fans being outside of Sanju Samson's home. A lot of fans coming to just take a glimpse of just to get a glimpse of Sanju Samson, and that's what I expect with India, because in India, cricket is a religion. And see, India was the best team of the tournament. So if India were going to lose in that final, then it would have definitely surprised me. And from ball one, I expected India to come out on top. And it was a kind of final where it felt as if, despite some 1 lakh or whatever fans watching that match at the stadium, it felt as if the Indian players didn't take that kind of pressure. They just took it as another game. And from there, from Abhishek Sharma coming back to form and Sanju Samson scoring all those runs the way he played, I don't think they put a foot wrong.
Shubhain, you've been on the road for the last few weeks. Not easy, must be difficult to kind of rev yourself up. But any new thoughts, reflections? And also, from a New Zealand perspective, what do you think they would be thinking about?
Yeah, a few last few weeks were hectic but fun. The bodily pain will go away, but the satisfaction after seeing this sort of performance, that kinds of give you that sense of happiness, and the coverage that we pulled off gives you a sense of satisfaction as well across platforms. It's not easy, and I'm not speaking just on behalf of myself, but for everyone who covered matches out there. And it's not easy. I've been speaking to all my journalist colleagues from other organizations as well, and everyone is saying, we are missing some things. It became a routine for all of us. Every night we used to text. We had an unofficial group where we used to text dinner ka kya scene hai. So we miss such kind of things where we gather all together after hours of work. But I've been speaking to a few of the coaches, few of the players, congratulating them, and everyone is saying one thing, that whether they were part of that 23 squad or not, but everyone felt that pain. So of course that pain will still remain 19 November 2023, but this win has acted as a balm. It has acted as a coolant, I would say, where people will look back at the Ahmedabad stadium with some positivity around. Yes, we defeated Pakistan also in that 23 World Cup, but the pain of the final was something different. Like Sitanshu Kotak, for that example, he was going through all those sessions where they had difficult conversations with players, where they had to reject the tactics. They had some intense chat within the coaching staff on how to change things. I spoke to a couple of players also, and everyone was saying, "Dekho, pressure to hota hi hai." After you lost that South Africa game, from there all the players switched on. They were locked into, win all the matches since all were knockouts. But one thing which Sitanshu Kotak mentioned, he was not part of the 23 squad, but he said, it gives us so much of joy, uh, each and every part of that team member, to see people celebrating like this. They were dancing on that night, but after that also, the way they are writing tribute posts on social media, giving the team the credit they deserve, and as fans also, the credit of following this team, not leaving them when they were down during bilateral series, during some matches where they did not perform well, but everyone rallied around this team. Yes, there were some criticism, and there is bound to be criticism when 1 billion people are following a particular sport, but ultimately it paid off really well, and back-to-back champions on home soil for the first time ever, defended the title for the first time ever. Some great stories around Rinku Singh, for example. I must mention the throwdown specialist Dayanand Garani. His father is also going through cancer stage 3 for the last 2 years. For him also to put that behind and give his all during the training sessions, make the batters prepare, make the players prepare. They have sacrificed a lot. So for you gave the example of Shivam Dubey. He wanted to be with his children as soon as the match got over. Sanju is there. We saw the rousing reception for Ishan Kishan. He was not even in the team a month back. So there are some great stories, fantastic stories, and this win will be remembered for a long, long time. Ashok.
I'll just add
Perfect.
a
Yes,
small thing on New Zealand team. Just if I can, I'll just add a very small thing on the New Zealand perspective as well. See, when it comes to New Zealand, see, as soon as they won the toss and decided to, I think, bowl first, I thought this match is basically well and truly over, in my humble opinion. Just because India is such a good batting side that on good conditions of batting, that they can easily outbat you. Where if the par score is 220, they might end up with 250. That's what exactly happened at the Wankhede Stadium as well, and then they will unleash Jasprit Bumrah. So if New Zealand look back at this match, maybe as in hindsight, they would think that giving the India the chance to bat first, I think basically the match ended well and truly there itself.
And also the execution part on behalf of New Zealand team was not the greatest. Matt Henry's strength, he did not bowl to his strength. He tried to bowl the slower balls, but he was bowling it in the slot. Lockie Ferguson again bowling in the slot. Those are not their greatest of strengths, but they played into the hands of the Indian team. And as Ashok also said, this is a ruthless side. And if you bowl to the hands of the Indian team like that, regardless of whether it's a final or not, you are bound to get punished.
Mitch Santner winning that toss and then putting India into bat. I was curiously waiting to see what is that tactical strategy that they would unveil. And, I thought that maybe McConchy would bowl in, like some of the other teams have done that against India. Or Glenn Phillips, which I think Glenn Phillips did bowl, but it didn't seem to be some kind of a thought through strategy there. Shubhayan, your thoughts? I mean, did they miss a trick there?
I think so. I think so. They bowled, I think, Glenn Phillips for only 1 over. He gave away 5 runs in the power play, and after that, he was not given the ball. So that was surprising. And Miss Santner, to be honest, has made some tactical mistakes throughout the World Cup. He was not the greatest of captains in terms of making calls. Yes, the team came out really well because of Finn Allen, Tim Seifert, other players, Glenn Phillips, the way they were batting. But ultimately, as I said, against India, you can't do that. Against some other teams, you can pull back a game, but when playing against India, if you make such tactical blunders, then you are bound to get punished. Even I can understand why they did not play McConchy. Jacob Duffy is arguably their number one T20 bowler at the moment. They wanted to give them their best bowler the best bet in the final. But again, neither Jacob Duffy nor Matt Henry nor Lockie Ferguson, they did not bowl according to their strengths. That is where I think things went wrong for them. They did not have a plan B, is what I felt. They were trying to give their all on the field like they always do, but in terms of bowling plans, they did not have anything additional to how to stop an Abhishek Sharma or a Sanju Samson. Sanju Samson played a chanceless knock, but none of the bowlers had something different. They have a Lockie Ferguson who is quick, but he did not bowl any short balls to Sanju Samson. Just this is just an example, and I think the bowling rotation was also pretty meek, I would say, against the Indian batters. So uh, they did well. I felt South Africa were a better team in this T20 World Cup, but again, what Finn Allen did in that semi-final was there to be seen. But New Zealand, they had their hiccups, but they saved their worst for the final. That's what I feel about this team. Yes, they will feel hurt, but they will also know, knowing the New Zealand players, knowing how they treat the sport, or the sportsmanship spirit they have, or even Mitchell Santner in the press conference. He was the first one to accept that. I was not at my best, or the execution part was not at the best from the Kiwis' behalf. So the best team won. That's what I can say.
Interesting. So New Zealand saved their worst for the finals. That's what Shubhayan said. Also, Shubhayan, I think that point that you made about Lockie Ferguson when he came in to bowl to Sanju Samson, I was just waiting to see what variation he would bring in, and I think they missed a trick there as well. Okay, so joining us also is Rohit Juglan. Rohit, welcome to the show. We are talking
Thank you.
about 60 hours after India won the finals, and any reflections or any new thoughts on your mind now?
I think I was only thinking about how life is, about Sanju Samson. Most part of his career means एक तरफ आप 10 साल रख सकते हो, एक तरफ आप 2 हफ्ते रख सकते हो. This is how means fair or unfair life is means. Uh, you can see it from both the spectrums that means both the end of the spectrums that for 10 years we were only discussing about when we see Sanju Samson. We all know that he has the potential he has, the kind of player he has, the talent word. Obviously, there were this whole IPL stats revolving around us that no IPL season with more than 600 plus runs. So does Sanju Samson have that? And even in the post-match presentation, he also said that sometimes the doubt was. The doubt was not outside, but I was also thinking the same. That can I do it? So when an individual, really sorry, when an individual doubt himself and coming from there, playing three knock means almost four 50s in knockouts, and then man of the tournament from sitting outside, in the World Cup games from the very start, and then to lift up the tournament, playing just 5 innings, and you are lifting the, player of the tournament is something that I was thinking of, that whether life is what he means. If he has that kind of game, why he was not in all the other World Cups, all the knockouts of the, because he's not here from 1 or 2 years, he's here from last 10 years, 12 years. So yeah, that my thinking is. And then reading the Shivam Dubey story done by I think Devendra Pandey sir, that's give you another side of the life, that booking a third AC, picking up your top that berth of the train and just leaving like a world champion. And then TT says, "Ye Shivam Dubey kaun hai? Kya ye wahi cricketer hai?" It's like that. And then his wife telling him, the TT, no, what he will do here. So yeah, multiple stories revolve around, and multiple things going around. Multiple conversations with the people won the World Cup. I think remember the conversation with Abhishek Sharma's family. Remember the conversation with Kuldeep Yadav. Remember the conversation with T Dilip sir. And yeah, it was very fulfilling to have the words and the mindset, what they went through, the preparation. Most important is the process, the preparation, as Dilip sir rightly told in the preparation, that in the interview, that everyone thinks that वो miracle हो गया, सूर्य कुमार यादव ने जो बारबाडोस में पकड़ा था. बट उससे पहले वो वैसे 50 कैच पकड़ चुका था. उससे पहले अक्षर पटेल वैसे कैचेस पकड़ चुका था. एंड that's why it looks very simple to the eyes. But and me and Shubhanda, we always talk about this, that ये बंदा मेहनत तो करता है यार. ऐसा नहीं है that fielding coach is just roaming around. आप भी थे अशोक sir, you saw it with your own eyes only, that in Dubai the kind of efforts he was doing, to uh, fix things, as far as that वो 1 सेकंड के लिए जो बॉल जब वो लाइट के थ्रू गुजरता है, भरत सर was also there, कि वो लाइट से गुजरता है तो वो 1 सेकंड के लिए डिसअपियर होता है आईसाइट से. एंड द काइंड ऑफ प्रैक्टिस सेशंस ही हैड, द काइंड ऑफ ड्रिल्स ही हैड विद द प्लेयर्स. सो या, knowing the process is really lovely, that how they become champions. So yeah, great. Everywhere what the things I'm reading, the things I'm consuming is all good right now.
Bilkul. I mean, you need to prepare for that 1 microsecond, like Rohit said.
Yes.
So true, so true. Okay, so there's also a lot of chatter that I'm picking up on social media, Bharat, about this win not being as special as some of the other ICC wins. I know, controversial topic, but I am going to put it onto the table, Bharat. Let's respond to that.
Obviously, that is wrong. That's a wrong way to look at it. First of all, you never know how ODI cricket going forward. ODI cricket may not have that kind of fan following. There was even a survey conducted by Professional Cricketers Association, where it said that the number of players, professional players, who say that ODI cricket is going to be the biggest format, it was down from 90% to about 50%, and those who said that T20 World Cup was the biggest, it had gone up from 10% to 40% in a span of 3 years. So I think it's a wrong way to look at it. World Cup is World Cup, be it ODI World Cup, be it T20 World Cup, and it is very much a big achievement to defend the title. I think tells something about this particular team, because I don't think any team has defended the T20 World Cup title before. For the Indian team to do that, I think it is a great achievement. It's not like they have just played 2 matches or 3 matches and won a tournament. They had to play a lot of matches. They lost one game against South Africa as well, where it felt as if India would go through a very bad phase. They might even not qualify for the semi-finals. Just for a moment, it felt as if that they won't qualify for the semi-finals. Then they beat the West Indies by chasing down 198 or whatever. Then there was that cliffhanger against England. They just for a moment, it felt as if Jacob Bethel would again do something special, but India held their nerve, and then they put on a complete performance in the final. So they deserve to be called as world champions in cricket. And compare that way, I don't know from where it is coming from that particular cricketer. Obviously, I don't want to take that particular cricketer's name. I think in going forward, maybe 4 years down the line, 5 years down the line, this performance would definitely be getting it could come into limelight, and a lot of people will praise this performance, because India didn't just win the title. Remember, India also defended the title, and that takes some doing, because in any sport, not just in cricket, even it could be some Grand Slam champions in tennis. Winning one Grand Slam is fine, but next year, if you go and defend the title, then it is something else. Then it's really a special achievement. So India have done that as well. So I don't know from where it is coming from as far as this particular cricketer is concerned.
Okay, so some questions.
I think
Yes, yes.
I think this is a curious case of economics. You know, when you say that the supply is more and the demand is less, it reaches to a level of equilibrium, which I my teachers were kept on telling me, giving me this example that तुम्हारी plate में 3 बेसन के लड्डू हैं. पहला खाते हुए you will feel most excited. Then जो second आएगा वो तुम जब खाओगे तो तुम थोड़ा सा और मतलब थोड़ा उसको खाते हुए तुम्हें पहले जितनी संतुष्टि नहीं मिलेगी, और फिर अगर तुम्हें तीसरा खाने को मिलेगा तो तुम्हारा जो थोड़ा सा वो टेस्ट होगा ना, वो अब उस तरीके से रिस्पॉन्ड नहीं करेगा. So this is a proper case. Last 3 years, 3 ICC trophies: 2024, 2025, 2026. Maybe 2027 can give you a different kind of high because of Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. And Rohit always saying that मेरे लिए तो वो 3 wickets और ऊपर वो ball लगा होता है, वो वाला trophy उठाना सबसे ज्यादा matter करता है. So I think this is a proper case of economics where you kept on giving the supplies and there is no more demand for it now. So that's how I see it. You know, when there's not that kind of, yes, Bharat sir, and we all know the history of it, that nobody won it in their home conditions, the T20 World Cup. Then defending a title not ever happened in and then winning it thrice. Now no team has won it number of times, three number of times. So I think there's a lot to celebrate. But yes, because we won it now, 3 ICC trophies in 3 years, from no ICC trophy in 10 years to 3 ICC trophies in 3 years. You can ask it from Australian cricket fan also. He also says that I understand this. 2007, I didn't celebrate it like 1999 or 2003. So that can be understandable.
Very true. Very true. That's the law of diminishing marginal utility, where as you get more of the same thing, you kind of get less satisfaction. But besan ke laddu ho to teen kya chhe kha jao. But coming to the questions, quite a few questions actually. Shubhayan, first one for you. True Wicket says, in an interview with ANI, Gambhir said that he wants to create a superstar team and not superstars. So, where is that super team in tests?
That's exactly where Sitanshu Kotak finished our phone call yesterday, the day before yesterday, When I asked what's next, he said, yes, ODI chalta rahega, T20s chalta rahega, but what we want to focus the most is the 9 tests that are remaining in the World Test Championship final. And, people sometimes don't understand the nature of transition that we are going through. Even in the T20 format, yes, it helped us a lot in T20 format because of the IPL. But in Test cricket, you don't have a tournament like an IPL where players have played 4, 5, 6 years before coming to the international circuit. They are ready by the time they play T20Is for India. But in Test cricket, for example, a Sai Sudarshan or someone from Harshit Rana, these youngsters, Nitish Kumar Reddy, they are still 20 in their early 20s. Harshit is probably 24, 25. So they're early 20s, mid 20s. So you need to give time to them as well to, settle down. Mohammad Shami did not become Mohammad Shami overnight. It took him time, possibly 4, 5 years to become the Mohammad Shami that he ultimately became. Jasprit Bumrah was a special case, but he also needed, at least a couple of years to come and start ruling world cricket. He had the uniqueness about himself, but he needed at least a couple of years to become the polished version of Jasprit Bumrah that he ultimately becomes. So you need to give time to the player. Ajinkya Rahane, Cheteshwar Pujara, all these players, by the time they came to test cricket, they needed at least 10, 15 matches to get going, and reach the status that they ultimately reached. So you need to give time to the coaching staff, to the players. We sometimes jump the gun while criticizing the coaching staff, but look at the results that they are giving right now. You have seen the improvement in Shivam Dube's bowling. Yes, it did not pan out well for him in the with the ball in this T20 World Cup, but he did bowl really well. His improvement graph is there to be seen to everyone. Harshit Rana, before he got injured, he was picking up the pace. He was peaking at the right time, just before the T20 World Cup, but ultimately he got injured in that warm up match. So the results are coming, but it is taking some time. So in Test cricket, it's not an Instagram reel where you keep on scrolling after every 30 seconds and you see every other content being polished and a finished product. You need to give time. You need to give the time to the coaching staff to edit that Instagram reel and put it out there. So that will take some time. Yes, the challenges are there, and we have not won a WTC cycle, but the coaching staff is working hard. They will probably zero in a few more players who can be in that test setup, be around the team, and start to become the polished version of themselves. Right now, what we are going through, we are playing mostly white ball cricket. Ranji Trophy is now picking up since the last couple of years. The players, the superstars, have now started to go back to domestic cricket and play. But now with more players, more bigger players, superstar players going and playing domestic cricket, you will see the quality of the lesser known players also increasing. They would also want to do well, excel in that domestic circuit. So it is a time taking process. Becoming a polished international cricketer, it's not everyone's cup of tea. You will select 10 players. The coaching staff, the selection committee will pick up 10 players whom they will zero in for the test cricket, but only 2 or 3 will, become a top notch world class player among them. So, give them time, give them the leeway of getting failures, making wrong calls. If they don't make wrong calls, I don't think you will have the better team which we will celebrate possibly after 4 years, 5 years in the next WTC cycle. So give them the time that they need. They are doing well in T20 cricket, ODI cricket also. There have been some hiccups in terms of result, but give them time. This is especially the test team is going through a major transition. So it will take time, but the result I'm pretty sure will follow. This country is too good to not produce good quality, high quality test cricket players.
Can I just add a
Interesting.
small point, very small point?
Yes,
I
sir.
have a small, always slightly different take in the sense that, see, even in 2010s, if you look at Rahane, if you look at Kohli, if you look at Rohit Sharma, if you look at Pujara, all these players came through the ranks by thinking that Test cricket is the pinnacle. They would always think on those lines. Even Rohit Sharma has said that many times that he wants to succeed in Test cricket. Even in 2010s, when he was struggling in somewhere in 2026, I'm not very sure those coming through the ranks have that kind of thinking. I'm not saying someone like Vaibhav Suryavanshi won't be thinking that I want to score 2000 5000 test runs or whatever it is. But whether they consider Test cricket as a pinnacle, I'm not 100% sure. And the second thought that I have is, if you look at a lot of the young batters, even in the under 19 ranks, they were looking to clear the front leg and smash it across the line. I think that is a kind of a shot which serves as an example and tells you that how modern day batters are looking at batting in terms of they work on their power hitting. They look to play lot more powerful shots. So it takes a little more time to bring these players into the test setup, because it's not so easy, because they don't have that kind of muscle memory where you have to maybe play out 50 deliveries, score about 15-20 runs in tough conditions. Their first instinct is to play a stroke. It could be across the line and it could be clearing the front leg. So I think India are going, not just Indian team, rest of the test teams, I think, are going through a very interesting phase where white ball cricket has taken over, and a lot of players coming through the ranks, even in the academies, even in the coaching academies. If I notice, they just look to play different style of. They have a different way of approaching this game. That is to play a lot more powerful strokes, a lot more innovative strokes. So Test cricket itself is going through a very interesting phase.
Interesting. Okay, so here's a, I think it's an interesting question. We talked about this victory, and I'm going to ask Rohit this question, in fact. Ankor Bishwas, he's saying during ODI World Cup 2023, many people were saying that the overs 10 to 35, the 10 to 35th over, were very boring. It feels long. Everybody now wanted a shorter format. Now that India has won the T20 World Cup, it has become less exciting. Rohit, what do you think? I mean, now it's a question of formats.
No, I don't think 50 over possesses a completely different kind of challenge. Even Gautam said in press conference also. I was reading the interview in Dainik Jagran about what will be the approach from here onwards to 50 overs cricket. Will we take this kind of approach, similar kind of approach to 50 over cricket also? And he said that yes, very much. If these kind of players can score 250, 270, look at the the kind of bravery they shown on two very big days, in semi final and in final, where every other team look for, a certain kind of defensive route. What New Zealand did, what South Africa did. Look at what South Africa did in the semi-final. That exact case. What I want my team, to never do that, to never, go into that kind of route, because it was a similar kind of case when they were playing us in Ahmedabad in that Super 8 game where 3 wickets fall, but they trusted in themselves. Look at a David Miller playing in that particular innings and a Dewald Brevis. And almost similar kind of situation when they played versus New Zealand. And yes, batting first on that kind of a wicket. And then, the similar team didn't able to handle that pressure, maybe because that was a semi-final. Look at the Indian team on the very similar cases, that they've been brave. Yes, in the semi-final, we all know that Abhishek Sharma, he didn't able to score that 50 in that semi-final. He scored the 50 in the final, but not able to score a half. Even then, the kind of approach, Sanju Samson, Ishan Kishan, and after that, the whole of the batting order, the kind of batting they did, it shows us that what kind of mindset they have. So similar kind of cricket, the way Onkor is saying that 10 to 35 overs. I think if this team can carry on and take the similar approach. Yes, we all know that in ODI cricket you have the time to rebuild. Also, it's in T20 cricket you don't have much of the time to rebuild. So suppose we are 10 for 3, then you want a different kind of cricket also. But most often or not, you won't be in that kind of situation where you will say that we are 10 for 3. So if they are carrying this kind of cricket and this kind of batting to ODI cricket, they can make that cricket exciting also. Similar kind of challenge was there before 2017 also. And then England played the kind of cricket where everyone was saying that Jason Roy, Alex Hales, that whole batting order can constantly score this 400 plus 400 plus. And before going to the 2019 World Cup, it was the similar case which was there in front of India, that can India score 300 plus in a T20 World Cup. At that World Cup, I remember in 2019, they all were saying that 400 plus from England, 400 plus. You'll see most often or not. That never happened. But the thing is that you can make 50 overs cricket exciting also. It's all about what kind of a cricket you are playing. And South Africa, you will get good wickets. The wicket will be fresh at that point of time. So I don't think that there will be everything for everything for the batters only. There will be things for bowlers. There will be this kind of not going to be this kind of competition between bat and ball. That ball is very flatter and bat is dominating clearly. Apart from Jasprit Bumrah, because I'm also watching this meme going on in social media, and very brilliantly written, that Sachin Tendulkar dominated in an era where there were bowlers and quality bowlers all around the world. Jasprit Bumrah is dominating where there is batters and only batters all around the world, and it's a batting friendly world. I don't say that that was a bowling friendly world, but the kind of bowlers Sachin faced and the kind of batters Jasprit Bumrah and the conditions Jasprit Bumrah is facing, so that's quite relevant. So yeah, I don't think that 10 to 35 will be the case. The case will be how you approach 50 over cricket. That will be, I think, the more important point.
Interesting, and I'm sure, just responding to that point of view, that some of the rub-off will happen and therefore change the approach of teams to the formats as well. Okay, so I think we are almost at the end of the show. There are a few questions. Sanju Mohanlal Samson is what Akash said. Not really a question. Questions about the fact that this one doesn't feel as good as the other ICC. That's okay. Bhai inse acha to Zimbabwe khelte. That is Omgor. That's fine. Make Sanju Samson the captain and Sky should be dropped. I think we will not respond to that. What I'm going to ask actually is, to close the show, Shubhayan, I'm going to come to you and ask you. You mentioned right in the beginning of the show, the last few weeks you've been on it. You're talking to your journalist friends, reminiscing the memories of this particular series. So how do you cope with it? As both of you, Rohit and Shubhayan, you've been on the road, and now it's time to kind of reset yourselves. But do you kind of start thinking of the IPL already, or do you kind of keep staying with this series? How does the mind work for the journalist? Let's take that question.
That's interesting. Yeah, you remember the memories. You have the flashbacks. That keeps on coming. You kind of try to list what are your best memories from the tour, what are the stories that you did, but at the same time, the body and mind needs a bit of break also. So that's something which we always look forward to. IPL will start from 28 March, so after that, 2.5 months of relentless cricket, no break in between. So sometimes it's good to have a bit of break in between just to reset yourself, but the memories will keep coming in. Sometimes random thoughts could keep on coming in. Some of the conversations, be it with the coaching staff, be it with your friends out there, jokes, dinner parties, whatever we have done, it keeps on coming on. And we miss the moments. We miss the moments, but at the same time, when your leg, your lower back, your wrist, your head, all are in pain. You sometimes want to just sit back and relax and not put too much pressure on your body and mind. So it's a good 2.5 weeks of break. So hopefully less work in this time frame, and the time to just to refreshen yourself up before the 2.5 months of continuous cricket again.
I think the banana shakes and all will be missed more. The banana
Yeah,
shakes and
we went to
different places,
some.
different kind of, be it in Colombo, be it coming to, Ahmedabad, the Kathiawadi thalis, and then to banana shakes, then the Geetham of Chennai. So I think we
Misala
enjoyed a
of
lot.
Ahmedabad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think the cuisine we tried this time around, and I'm not talking about only us. The kind of food we had in this World Cup, I think is, I never had that kind of opportunity, and that's why everyone, when I came back, everyone says that now time to hit the gym, because I think I have I think that I have what 10 more kgs for sure. 10 more kgs is there.
That's
Yeah,
because of the ice creams you had.
That's because of the ice creams, maybe.
yeah. But now that you're back in, I mean, soon you will be congregating in Kolkata, and then it's time for
Yeah,
Dap Singri and Shondesh
another
and all the
another three
mystery.
days
Yeah,
of ice
maybe
creams
after
and
the conclave, we'll take a few days of off and try to go back to gym and try to get back to the same routine.
Okay. Bharat, I'll give you one last question because there's a viewer asking a question directly to you. Bharat, do you think that now Bumrah's focus will be on 2027 World Cup? So ODIs become more important. Also, not every ODI series like versus Afghanistan, West Indies. Okay, I think this question is getting a little convoluted, but the question is, is Bumrah now going to focus on the 2027 ODI World Cup?
Or maybe at a macro level, it's about maybe workload management. Again, it comes down to the management to think that which series is important, which ODI series is important, or maybe even in Test cricket, which Test series that Bumrah can play, because one has to remember that he has a unique action. Yes, he has kind of biomechanics that help him to take a lot more wickets, but it also ensures that he would have back injuries with that kind of a back snap or with that kind of a lateral flexion. Yes, yes, tightened up his lateral flexion a little bit, but it still seems as if his head kind of jerks a little more. So with this kind of an action, he will have back injuries, and he already has suffered a couple of back injuries. And experts will tell you that if he has another back injury at exactly around the same place, so then it could be basically the end of his career itself. So considering that,
He
workload
doesn't
management is
agree on
also.
that. Huh? He doesn't
Ah,
Yeah,
agree
Shane
on that.
Warne,
That
he has a different
he
view.
doesn't
He has a
agree on that.
different view.
bowler won't agree that, but that has happened to other bowlers as well. It has happened to Shane Warne himself. It has happened to James Pattinson. It has happened to a lot of other bowlers when they have suffered 2, 3 back injuries around that same place. Then it is basically the end of your career. Kyle Jamieson almost came close to something like that. His career being curtailed, but thankfully he's back despite 2 back surgeries. But that is why I think the Indian management is taking so much of precaution. So it basically comes down to which ODI series is important, or even in terms of Test cricket, they just have to look at the importance of that, significance of that Test series, and play. Maybe, for example, in Sri Lanka, they needn't take Bumrah because you will get turning tracks in the Test series. They can take a few more spinners out there, but in New Zealand, someone like Jasprit Bumrah will be definitely needed in those conditions. So that is how they can look at the workload management ahead of the World Cup.
Perfect. So, a very fascinating series. So many stories to recollect and talk about, and maybe that could be a show by itself sometime in the future. But now I'm not sure whether, like Shubhayan and Rohit said, whether we'll get time to hit the gym and get our bodies back in shape. But for the Rev Sports team, we are all congregating in Kolkata. There is going to be gym for the brain, as we have over 30 athletes, top-notch athletes across India coming in for India's biggest sports conclave. More than 26 sponsors, more than 500 guests coming in, intense deliberations about the future of sport and how to make India's sporting ambitions come true. Stay tuned to this place, and we will bring you all the action. Thank you, gentlemen, for tuning into the show.
Thank you.